Cold kills faster than bullets. That wasn't a metaphor in World War II. It was a daily reality. And you know, the most effective defense against that cold wasn't a thick coat or a heavy blanket. It was actually a thin, removable jacket liner, so simple, so underestimated, that most people still don't realize it outperformed almost every winter coat of the era. By the early 1940s, armies across Europe and Asia learned a brutal lesson. Winter didn't care about rank, bravery or firepower. Soldiers froze in foxholes. Frostbite crippled entire units. In the Eastern Front alone, cold injuries sidelined hundreds of thousands of troops. Traditional thinking said warmth came from thickness. Bigger coats, heavier wool, more layers piled on top of each other, but that approach failed fast. Heavy coats restricted movement. Wool absorbed moisture. Blankets worked only when you stopped moving, and stopping often meant death. Here's the interesting part. Military planners realized the problem wasn't lack of insulation, it was lack of control. A soldier on the move generates heat. A soldier standing still loses it. Thick coats trapped heat when marching, but turned dangerous once sweat built up. Moisture soaked into wool, collapsed insulation, and sucked warmth away from the body. Then came the wind. Cold air cut through seams and gaps like a blade. Heavy coats couldn't seal effectively without becoming stiff and awkward. And once soaked, they were nearly impossible to dry in the field. Blankets had their own limits. They were useful at rest, but useless during combat. You couldn't fire a rifle wrapped in a blanket. You couldn't run. You couldn't react. Warmth had to move with the body. That insight changed everything. The solution wasn't revolutionary. It was methodical. Military designers introduced thin, quilted jacket liners made from layered fabric and lightweight insulation. These liners were worn under standard field jackets. They added warmth without bulk. More importantly, they worked with the body instead of against it. The United States Army's quilted pile liners and later field jacket liners were designed to trap air, not weight. Air was the real insulator. The fabric layers created tiny pockets that held warmth close to the torso, while allowing moisture to escape. This channel exists for a reason. Before modern synthetic jackets, heated clothing and advanced materials, people survived with smart systems, not heavy solutions. The World War II liner represents that philosophy perfectly. It didn't rely on technology. It relied on understanding the human body. You can apply this same logic using natural fibers, layered cloth, and proper wind barriers. Thin insulation close to the skin. Breathable layers, a protective shell. That knowledge predates electricity. It predates factories. It's timeless. Even today, people chase thickness. Big coats, heavy blankets, overlayering without strategy. But history already answered the question. Warmth isn't about piling on weight, it's about controlling air, moisture and movement. The World War II liner worked because it respected all three. It kept soldiers alive not by overwhelming the cold, but by outsmarting it. That's the real lesson. After the war, liner-based systems spread everywhere. Civilian outdoor gear, workwear, expedition clothing. The concept stayed even as materials evolved. but the original idea remains unchanged. A thin layer, properly placed, beats brute force every time. And that's why this forgotten liner deserves its place in survival history. History doesn't always shout, sometimes it whispers. And the smartest survival lessons are usually the quiet ones. If you enjoy uncovering the real techniques people used before modern technology, methods that were tested in the harshest conditions on Earth, then you're in the right place. Like the video if this surprised you. Share it with someone who thinks thicker always means warmer. And subscribe to Before Modern Times for more forgotten knowledge that still works when everything else fails. Because the past didn't survive by accident, and neither should we.